I'm going to share that one of the first things I did many years ago was Pitbull. So Armando Christian Perez is obviously Mr. 305, and I live in Miami, and he's a local friend of mine. And I happened to meet him one day. He invited me to speak for him in his school and as a commencement speaker. And for those of you that know him, one of the things he says is that failure is not failure. Failure is just an opportunity to try something new and try again. And that is like such a part of my core message and what I try to constantly keep remembering about my own life. Because, as many of you will hear in my stories, I did go to prison and I was an Ivy League attorney that ended up not where I expected. And by all accounts was on this path to success. And I just don't let that story define who I am.
Right. It's one act doesn't define who you are. You said the phrase falling down and failing, but
Okay.
there's no place where we can learn and which is just so fertile to harvest life lessons from than being a parent. You have two teenage children.
I do. In fact, yesterday, my youngest graduated from high school. It was a day full of a lot of excitement, but gosh, a lot of emotion. And I found myself because my son is a year older. He graduated last year. He's a just finished his freshman year at University of Florida. And my daughter, who's a competitive volleyball player, will be playing volleyball at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut. First of all, there's something special about a mother-daughter relationship. So I found myself as she was like walking out of the auditorium and I'm filming her. I erupted. I literally erupted I was sobbing. And her dad looked over at me and was like, "Why are you crying?" But parenting is just the biggest joy of my life. And having been taken away from them when they were very little for a period of time really made that hit home for me.
It's something that resets. As a parent now of three daughters, one in college, and I have twins who are younger than their older sister, and my father passed, as I mentioned, when I was younger. Now being in his position of being a father and, you know, being one of the leaders of our family, it just kind of recontextualizes what's important, as cliche as it sounds, the core values, the core virtues, and, how you want to present yourself as a parent, as a partner, as somebody who's, an example for them with all the foibles, all the stresses and messes.
Yeah.
So,
You know what I
yeah,
tell my kids? I tell them I want to be every day the perfectly imperfect mother because
yeah,
it's all I can do, right? Is teach you guys that I also am imperfect and human like you, which means that when you mess up, which you will, and when things happen that you wish you could take back, I expect you to hold yourself accountable and learn from it, grow from it, and then do something better, right? It's
yeah.
my same message that I work in my business, I share with my kids. And it's been like for them, I think it's been really transformational for them because as teenagers, they have had to learn some very hard lessons, watching me learn some hard lessons. And it has really shifted who they are as humans and young adults.